Now there are three nuclear processes which we learn about. The first one is nuclear fission. Now you only learn in detail in A2 . In AS I just give you as a brief introduction. So what is fission? Fission is when a heavy unstable nucleus, alright, a heavy unstable nucleus absorbs a neutron. Alright, so it absorbs this neutron and then becomes very unstable, even more unstable. And then it will split into two daughter nuclei of about equal masses, okay, and more neutrons. So you notice that absorb one neutron, when it splits it produces three neutrons, alright, to become more stable. So the objective of any nuclear process is to become more stable. So this is how it becomes more stable, by splitting. Okay. Generally, in our nuclear power generators, the one that use to generate electricity, they will use fission reactors. So in this fission reactor, what will happen is they will introduce one neutron and then it will produce three neutrons, and the three neutrons will be absorbed by another three uranium, so it will produce another three fission. So that's what we call as a chain reaction, because one reaction produces three neutrons, which produces three reactions, and three reactions here will produce 9 neutrons, which produces 9 fission. So it's a chain reaction, so it's increasing exponentially. So during the process of fission, the barium, krypton and the neutrons will break up at very high speeds. That means absorb slow, the stationary uranium absorbs a slow moving neutron, suddenly it will burst out. Alright, so it's a very high speed. That means when the Ke increases, the temperature increases. Therefore, in a fission chamber, it's a very high temperature. And we use this high temperature to generate electricity. So how we pass pipes filled with water, passing through the fission chamber. So the water inside the pipes will boil and turn to steam, and then we use the steam to turn the turbines to generate electricity. Alright, so that's a general story here. Okay. Next is fusion. So what is fusion? Fusion occurs when two light unstable nuclei joins together to form a heavier, more stable nucleus. Actually it's nucleus, not nuclei, because it's a singular. So for example, if you have deuterium and hydrogen here adding together, you get tritium. So it becomes heavier but more stable. So when do we have this? This happens like in the sun. So the sun actually can produce a lot of energy due to fusion. So fusion actually produces much more energy than fission. In fact, fusion is a cleaner type of nuclear process compared to fission. You know why? In fission, number one, your uranium has to be mined. That means you must actually find it like oil. You have to find it. It is not readily available. And we have limited supply of uranium, just like your limited supply of oil. And on top of it, once in fission you generate the barium and krypton, it will actually start to decay. And you will reach the last, not really the last, you will reach an element that will have half-life of hundreds or thousands of years. That means you need hundreds or thousands of years for it to decay to safe levels. So that problem with fission is we don't know where to store it for hundreds or thousands of years. Whereas for fusion, there's no such problem, because you can actually get all these isotopes of hydrogen, which is deuterium, or even tritium from water, heavy water. So you can get it from the sea. So in that sense, it's abundant. Alright, and if you notice the particles which they form, they won't decay. So it is in the sense you have no nuclear waste. So fusion is a much more efficient way of generating energy, and furthermore it generates much more energy. So why don't people use fusion? Because fusion at the moment only occurs when at very high temperature and pressure. Alright, which is dangerous for us to do it. So only time where they use fusion right now is in the hydrogen bomb. You know the hydrogen bomb? Now the bombs that they dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki were fission bombs, not fusion. Alright, so fusion bombs are also called hydrogen bombs. Those are worse, much worse than fission bombs, because it generates much more energy. So how do you generate fusion in the bomb? In a typical hydrogen bomb, there will be two compartments. So when you drop the bomb, the separator will allow the neutrons to mix with the uranium, and then it will undergo fission first to produce barium, krypton, and neutron. So there's a chain reaction. So there'll be a big explosion due to the fission. And during the explosion, very high temperature and pressure is produced, which allows fusion to take place. So you have another bigger explosion after that. That's why your hydrogen bombs are very, very dangerous. Okay? So that's a little bit about fission and fusion. So then what is decay? So decay is when an unstable nucleus decays to become more stable by emitting alpha, beta, and gamma radiation. Or you can put all alpha, beta, or gamma radiation. So now this decay is completely unpredictable. We call it random and spontaneous. So you cannot make it happen. Like fission and fusion, you can actually make it happen on that means whenever you want them to happen. But for decay, cannot. Decay is random and spontaneous. That means it will happen when it wants to happen, right? And you have no control over it. And characteristic is it will produce either alpha, beta, or and also gamma. But you see how they are produced is like this. You can either produce alpha or beta, or alpha and beta, but in all cases gamma will accompany. That means gamma is always there, because when you produce alpha, gamma will follow. When you produce beta, gamma will also follow. When you produce alpha and beta, gamma will also follow. So gamma is never on its own. So when you see gamma, you can be sure there's either alpha or beta or both there. Okay? Now under nuclear decay, we will call it random and spontaneous. So even though this part of the syllabus has been shifted to A2, but I think it's good for us to learn a little bit right now, because we do know that sometimes they ask a little bit of A2 in your AS. Anyway, it's not very difficult, this concept. So I was telling you that nuclear decay is spontaneous and random. So what does spontaneous mean? Spontaneous means not affected by any external trigger, that is temperature, pressure, electric, and magnetic fields. That means you cannot make it happen faster or slower. For example, if you look at this graph here, which represents decay of a sample. Now, if you increase the temperature and pressure of the sample, it will still decay at the same rate. So can you see these two graphs have the same rate of decay? So that means you cannot make it faster or slower. Even though you heat it up or increase the pressure, the rate of decay still happens like that. So which is why I was telling you about nuclear fission, right? Our fission reactors that we use to generate electricity. When it becomes nuclear waste that we need to store for hundreds or thousands of years, is because of this reason. Because their half-lives, which is hundreds or thousands of years, we cannot make it happen faster, so we're going to store it for hundreds or thousands of years. Okay, so that's the problem. All right, so if you could somehow make the decay happen faster, you will actually become very rich, because you will solve the problem of storing nuclear waste. Because at the moment, right, you know how they store nuclear waste? They actually dig a hole deep underground, and then they hide it inside. So hopefully nobody will actually dig it out again. But for hundreds or thousands of years, can you be sure that nobody will actually dig it out again? You will probably forget, right, not where you buried it. Another way that which they store it, in France I saw this documentary. They actually have this giant facility, like a swimming pool. That means you have water and all that. So they keep the nuclear waste in a lead container, and then they put it inside the pool of water. Why? Because when it undergoes decay, the alpha beta will come out with high speed as well. So it becomes very hot. So in order to prevent the lead box from melting, because the lead is to protect to prevent the alpha, beta, or gamma from escaping. Because you will learn later, gamma can be stopped by lead if it's thick enough. So to prevent the lead from melting, because it's too hot, it will melt, then they have to immerse in water to cool it down and constantly regulate the temperature. But the question is, can they maintain this facility for hundreds or thousands of years? You see, that's the problem, all right, with nuclear waste. All right, so if you can solve the problem of this spontaneous nature of decay, you become very rich. So the second nature is random nature of decay. So what does random nature means? Now you cannot predict when it decays. So when it decays, right, even though we would say that it follows a general trend like this, exponential decay, but if you look at the jagged lines, it shows you that there's still minor fluctuations during the decay. You're supposed to expect it to be one value, but it's suddenly a bit higher. You expect it to be a certain value, it's a bit lower, because you can never predict. Understand? So that's the nature of decay. Right, you will only learn in passing now. We will learn more detail in A2.